time. Because that's when everybody drives.
If I end up coughing and walking out, that's why.
We had a whole board full of people on the Humvees and.
Good. Thank you.
Do you remember our board in the office here with all the vehicles in Mecox Cut? We even got Chris Bean in there. He found that his truck it didn't swim. He tried to go across the cut and it didn't swim. Nope. Too bad.
I guess you're going over the 10-mile-an-hour speed limit if that happens, right?
Or under.
I'm not sure. I think you'd see that one coming. Big sand dune.
All right, guys, let's go.
You'll be surprised.
Call the meeting to order. Start with the pledge. Hey, welcome everybody to the work session agenda. Ask the Secretary Treasurer to call the roll.
Okay. Scott Horowitz. Ed Warner, present. Chip Marin.
Yeah.
Joe McLaughlin. Present. Matt Parsons.
Here.
Mr. President, we're all
Thank
here.
you, sir. Thank you. All right, so let's get right into general permit applications for determination. I have 10 Tarpon Road, East Quogue, Taplow Consulting Limited. Anybody here from Taplow? You're representing 12 also?
Yes.
10 and 12. Come on up. Let's talk about the project. Yeah, you have to. You could come up over here if you want.
Oh, okay.
You gotta state your name for the record and sign in, and then we'll talk about this.
My name is Pam Setchell, S-E-T-C-H-E-L-L. I own Taplow Consulting, and this is Ed Clark, who works for me at Taplow Consulting, and we have both properties.
Okay. Let's look at what do we got there, James? The 10.
Yes.
So you want to replace the existing
Correct.
functional wooden bulkhead with new vinyl bulkhead spanning across the entire 75 feet. Right. It has a boat slip in 98 linear feet total. Then you want to do new returns, 10 and 12 feet added. And you want to come up by 18 inches, and you want to add a lot of fill, 40 cubic yards of backfill. And a 10-foot buffer. So that's 10. And you want to do them both around the same time. Right. So the thing is, I mean, looking at it, the house is pretty high. Right. So there's no danger to the house relative to this, right?
Correct.
With these bulkhead increases, so you know you're talking about bringing in a lot of fill comparative to the adjoining properties. You know, you're going to be displacing that water to the left and to the right of these projects. So that's a bit of a concern. That's probably about, you know, you can take a look there. Because the house is fine. Look at all the steps going from the house down to the water, right? So you've got.
Do we have any elevations of the adjacent property bulkheads?
It looks like
One of them's higher, the other is not. One of them was raised. That one was raised.
How much was the adjacent property raised?
One adjacent is,
The one to the south is higher.
What, 10 inches, 12 inches, 6 inches?
the one to the south is lower.
Yeah, the one to the
Yeah,
north.
one to the
slightly
south is
higher.
6 inches lower. The one to the north is a little bit higher, and it's in horrible condition. Yeah, one to the south is lower, and the one by.
Half a foot
Yeah, it's-
higher. 6 inches higher?
Top of book at 3.75 versus 3.25. I just wanted to ask what you had meant by displacing more water, because on a.
Because when you go up and there's a flood tide or something like that, if you go up, that means that your adjacent properties get the brunt of the stormwater.
I don't know.
The actual adjacent neighbor, Scarmazzino, who happens to be 6 inches lower, I understand where you're coming from. Of course, the last couple of days were a complete disaster. The water was, you couldn't even see that there was a bulkhead there. She's raising, but she's only raising a foot because of some crazy little it definitely is an area that takes on a lot of water considerably, a lot of times.
Every area is going to now.
I know.
So what,
Oh, we know.
Less water would just come into the canal though, if you were to raise the bulkhead.
The same amount of water would come in the canal, it would just be dispersed in different areas.
that's the,
Somebody else takes the hit, that's all.
right, that's the issue,
Yeah.
because
No.
the houses themselves are high.
Yes, they
The
are.
houses are high, so you don't have any danger to the houses themselves, you know.
So you'd rather see us lower this.
Well, I think,
Not
I
about
think you,
smaller.
Keep it the same.
Keep it the same, or,
No,
Or
I
the,
mean-
or the height,
well,
same
well,
height as the
from what
neighbor.
your project is, I think you need to reevaluate what the project is and the amount of fill that you're bringing in, because it is gonna create a problem. And it's not gonna, you know, obviously you have to do the buffering. So in theory, if you did get that height adjusted properly, that water, you know, would come up, it would just go into that buffer area, and then it would just go right back out again. And you know, you wouldn't be creating the same issues to the adjoining properties. Cause like you can see those steps, there's a lot of steps to get from the bulkheaded area up to the road, you know, where the houses are. So I just think you need to take a look at that. I think what you're asking for is just, it's like overkill and perhaps creating a problem left and right here.
So what if we dropped the request on raising his, and raised it to meet what Scarmazzino would be, which would be the adjacent property? It's still gonna be a little bit above either side, but probably right on.
do you know how far along she is in her process? Or is this just hypothetical?
Oh, no, we've got DEC, everything.
And she's come before the board, us yet? Scarmazzino?
Right now.
No,
There's
there's two, you got
Oh.
10 and 12 here. You got 10 and
Yeah.
12.
Alright.
Both properties. Oh, no, they're dying to get it done because the bulkheads are.
Yeah, so when you go and you go look at the
Oh,
whole
okay.
thing,
Yep.
you're seeing both of these properties.
Yeah. This can't come fast enough for her, especially.
Yeah, I just don't wanna see, you know, I wanna see, be basically equal to whatever the neighbor is.
Well, you have to be careful by raising these bulkheads too high and, and actually making a bowling effect, so when you get an extreme high tide, that water's gonna just puddle there and stay there. You know, the way the property's designed now is the tide will rise, and being it's sloped, it will go right back down.
Yeah,
You know, that's,
you almost cause more of a problem sometimes.
I've seen it.
Depends on how high you raise it.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
got
Do you have stormwater runoff that's coming from the upland that's constrained getting out of the channel? Is that why you say there'd be more water in there? Because as a marine engineer, I just looked at the map again, I'm in Shinnecock Bay connects to the Atlantic Ocean. You're only gonna have so much water go into that canal, and if everybody
If you get a
were raised-
northeast wind, you get any kind of east wind, it just stacks up and stacks up and stacks up.
So you're saying it's more of a floodplain
Yeah.
issue once it goes
Yeah.
over the
Yeah.
bulkhead, you're saying it
Yeah,
hands
it
out.
has
but
nothing to
it's
do
only
really
because
with the upland
Yeah.
water that we're worried about. It's the water coming in that just keeps stacking up and stacking up, and you get an east wind, and it can't go out.
It goes horizontally, wherever, yeah.
Right, because you'd have to bring in so much fill to all of these properties to get them all to where they're at. It's just not.
What we were trying to take advantage of is New York State DEC for tidal wetlands permits has given an automatic allowance with bulkhead replacements of
Up to
raising
18
by a
inches.
foot and a half. And the reason for that is they're hoping that enough people will take advantage of it on the shoreline to, or in these type of areas to, build up property, assuming you have some type of sea level rise in the next 50 years. And you can see the watermark on most of these bulkheads. If you add 6 or 8 inches to that, it would almost indicate that every tide is going to be close to the lawn as a normal tide. And then when you have a full moon tide, it may actually creep onto people's lawns. So the DEC was giving that allowance, and we figured the fill would fare into the
I think there's going to be any creepage. I think it's just.
But if you're saying that wind is
Surge.
driving water into the
It's a
canal
surge.
and it's constrained from leaving, then yeah, you would need a floodplain to
Maybe we should
absorb.
just talk everybody into raising the bulkhead.
Yeah, but I mean, you're just kicking the can down the road. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. We just don't want you to cause impact on another piece of property, because then all your runoff goes to the neighboring properties, and then if they don't have good returns, it eats out somewhere along the line. It eats out.
And plus, it was supposed to be dealt with differently too, and that was the reason for the 10 foot of the deep-rooted native vegetation buffer, so that when that water did overtop that bulkhead by that amount, it wasn't gonna be, causing that erosion issue. It would just go right back out again. And the house is high enough where your house is not in any danger at all.
No.
So if you build the bulkhead properly, set the elevation where you're not displacing too much water to the left and to the right, and then really do a good job on that buffering, you'll protect that property pretty well without creating any of those adverse effects that we're trying to avoid. Obviously, we don't live in a perfect world, and that's where
It sounds like you'd prefer to keep the elevation equal to what it is now.
Or to the neighbor that's.
right to that 6-inch differential,
Yeah,
perhaps.
that way everybody has the same protection.
Right.
The 18 inches was more or less designed for like the open bay where you got wave action, and it would protect the property and sometimes the house. This house, you can get I don't think it flooded during Sandy, so it's the house is protected. We're just taking the bulkhead, and that's going to hold back the fill on the property and enable the canal to be a navigable canal. So elevating it slightly and keeping the bulkhead as is will protect the property from falling into the canal and also allow the water to rise and fall. And
But so if we redesign this to come up from 3.25 to 3.75, which is the neighbor to the north,
Makes more sense. And then do a really good job on your buffer.
sorry,
Yeah, do you have a planting plan for the buffer and all that stuff, like native
They're
plants?
gonna plant or they're gonna put, gravel?
Well,
Better
everything's
off
gotta
with the
be,
plant.
everything's gotta be on there, like planting spacing, species of plants,
Okay.
you know,
And
like,
you cannot we do a lot of stuff in the Jamesport area, and you cannot do the gravel instead of planting?
I mean, the native
combination is even better.
The native vegetation would be better because it will get some deep roots in there, so that when it does get over top, because
the nutrients.
we get the storm come through here, those king tides we get, it's going to come up and over. It'll just go back. It won't do any harm. And
I like the gravel, and especially on the ends, I like some kind of, well, like I always say, high tide bushes.
Yep.
Because they'll hold, the runoff.
Yep.
And it wicks up the nutrients that everybody put on lawn upland. So as the rain, we're trying to protect the water,
I don't blame
and we're the last,
you. No argument to that.
last
I don't blame
the
you.
line in the sand that that 10 foot we have with the bulkhead. So that's why we asked for some native vegetation with roots and stuff like that.
Not a problem.
And not only that, aesthetically it looks so much nicer on property.
Do you have an electrical permit for the electric right up on the bulkhead?
That electric's been taken out.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been there since the year, I don't know who was born.
Imagine that got a little wet one time.
I wouldn't be plugging anything into that.
It's also on the survey too, so, or it's on the plan.
If you're going to put
I
electric
left it
to
on there,
the,
yeah, it's gonna come
you
out.
need,
So I can
the-
revise that.
go
We
through
don't
the town,
you
under
can
a
have it, as long as you
certificate on the
have
electric.
Well, it's funny because I
We
said
don't
I
deal
had-
with that.
I didn't wanna do that.
that's that.
Water and electric is just on.
We don't sign off on that, it's the town building department.
Yep.
Right.
Do a redesign.
Okay,
We'll come back.
all right, I think we have a
Okay.
bunch of, up 6 inches.
Yep.
Yep.
Right.
You got it.
Do a
Thank
good
you,
job.
thank you so
And then
Thank you.
do a descriptive job on the buffering.
Yes.
Yeah, the buffer, that's the key, is just make sure you have
That's
it
not a
identified.
you'll have this back in a blink.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Trustee Warner,
Okay,
we're on hold.
Barry Seymour, 10 Sun Court, First Coastal. Hey, Billy. Where'd it go?
Billy and Barry Seymour.
Morning. We're doing pretty good.
So we updated the plan, based on our last conversation, to bring the elevation up to match the adjacent bulkhead's height.
Okay,
And also with the assumption that the,
will be replaced.
yeah, the guys.
To the north.
Will replace it and
Yeah.
probably come up to that
Yeah,
elevation.
yeah,
So I think, everything looks pretty good.
okay. And we have the agreement here that needs to be signed by the.
I did want to raise an issue. So, and I brought some materials just to share with you. So the initial proposal and plan was to sort of build a wall straight across. When we put in for DEC, they asked us to extend the wall out to align with our neighbor's bulkhead. which I think is excessive, because this was on Saturday. This would be the point of the neighbor's
Yes.
adjoining bulkhead
Yes.
coming across.
Oops.
You know, and it was stormy this weekend, obviously, it was an unusually high
Yeah.
tide. But I'm concerned about, and that was what DEC wound up sort of approving, this revised plan to extend the wall out. But I don't think we wanna build the wall into the water. It's just gonna cause all that sand to wash out. So if possible, I'd prefer that we sort of go back to the original plan, which was set that corner back a little bit so that we stay out of the water and kind of have it more stable.
That would be a
We'd have to go back to DEC. I know, obviously,
Yeah.
you know, we'll have to move
discuss
that
with your
back
consultant.
through.
Yeah, well, my interpretation of the DEC is that they are requesting exactly the opposite. They're actually asking us to pull it landward.
Yeah, because they don't wanna
In
fill in
line.
tidal wetlands.
Exactly.
You know,
In
nor-
line with the adjacent bulkhead, so it would be like drawing an imaginary line
Yes,
between the two bulkheads.
yeah.
And that's consistent with what we'd like to build,
Yeah,
so.
but my concern is that's gonna put us out here.
Well, that is,
Yeah, but
that's the guy next, so here's your right of way over here.
Yeah.
So,
That's the right of way. So
Yeah.
the northern end, it's fine, there's sand in front of it, we would line up with that
Yeah.
bulkhead, because
Right.
we tie right into it. But where that right of way is, that would effectively put us out here.
yeah.
And I'm sorry, this all just came, to light this
Yeah,
week, so. I
right.
haven't
really,
had
there's
chance to
a
coordinate.
right of way from Suncourt to the water.
Yeah, there's a right of way.
And how's this,
That's a survey, so you can see, there's a 10-foot right of way that for people on.
yes,
on the
Suncourt,
street
yeah.
So that
to
would
get
be
down to the beach.
that would have no structure on it.
Yeah.
That would allow clean access for
Okay.
everybody
So
that
the
continues to
right of
use
way
it.
basically comes in right
Yeah.
along
Yeah.
there, they're tied
Yeah,
back
next to
there.
your property used to be Mr. Sinclair's property, I believe.
Well, Sinclair's one over.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, okay.
And our neighbor to the north is Tannhauser. They have the permit in, I understand, to rebuild their bulkhead.
They're working on the DEC permit. Yes. I mean, that's a conversation you
Yeah,
need to have, because that's gonna be changed to permit, the logistics of it, how it's gonna lay
Yeah,
out there.
And
then,
I apologize, we didn't have a chance.
no,
to
that's
coordinate
all right.
this weekend.
Then what I would do based on this is let's revise this
Yeah.
and bring it in and have it consistent.
Right. Yeah.
Good.
This is not the real perception of the beach. This
That's a
is
high tide.
probably
Yeah.
2 feet above a normal high tide, and,
That was Saturday, it's true.
No,
It's
yeah.
definitely higher than normal, like as it was everywhere.
I was on the
this
water
weekend.
Saturday, so I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
A lot of docks were
But
buried.
it's
Yeah.
not that unusual a situation.
No, I know, because you have the east
a high
wind
tide
and the
like that.
fetch of all Shinnecock Bay.
Face northeast. so
Yeah,
we
if
get
you're
it.
gonna, work on revising the plans to your,
Yeah, let's do that then.
okay,
Okay.
then we'll revisit
Put it
this.
on hold.
Yeah, we're gonna
Thank
put this
you.
on hold.
Yeah, I only wanna build this once, so.
Exactly. Good. And then I'll, unless you guys wanna do the others,
Let's do your others while you're here.
2 more.
I do.
You wanna do, Alex, you wanna do, 142? Well, 142 is only, we did request the con board, but, James, like,
We haven't heard back from
We haven't heard back yet.
Okay, I figured that would take some time,
So
so.
that's on hold.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Hold
on
that.
hold.
So,
And then
Alex,
175.
go Alex.
Yeah, this is pretty. So, I think you had requested an updated.
Cause they can't, he came before you were, you came on board, so I'm not really quite sure what you've done since I don't know what to do.
So I think what you were looking for was an updated survey with
Yes.
soundings. We did provide that, and you have that on file.
And then, is there any renderings as to what he wants
Yeah.
to do there?
So
'Cause
there is.
nothing was legal. What is
It's
it?
going for now.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Thank
got
you.
it.
See you First Coastal and be good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thanks,
it, sir.
Barry.
Nothing was legal, from what I understand.
Yeah, this is some kind of homemade bulkhead, it looks like, from years ago. And they're looking to legalize that and actually scale it back. They had a walkway that went into the water, and they're looking to actually reduce the size of that. So here's a plan here.
one up in Davis Creek where the guy came in?
Yes,
Yep.
exactly. The neighbor's doing the
It
same.
looked like it was
Fighting
like
neighbors.
CCA from the sixties or something like
Yep.
that.
Basically, yeah.
And the dock was over the wetlands,
I think we recommended that he find somebody
Yeah,
to
exactly.
get in.
and move it off the 10-foot
Fighting
setback.
neighbors, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was at the property, yes.
And there was
I'd like to see it remain stabilized. You guys can follow how you go about it, but I'd hate to see that.
Fall into the wetlands, yeah.
That's not a good area. That's basically that's right along the only channel to get in and out of Davis Creek.
Correct.
So
That's
you
that
lock
little
that in.
corner there.
That's the only hook to get in there.
Yep.
The rest of the way, so you take that out, we're gonna have a problem. So I'd say stabilize it. I prefer riprap myself, but
Your riprap gives you, wave, absorption and.
Yeah.
and makes-
dispersion.
and it'll allow the wetlands to kind of grow up through the riprap. I'm sure it'll take really well right in there rather than having a hardened CCA or vinyl or all that other crap. So I would recommend riprap for that
If that's
area.
the board's view.
I mean, there's wetlands
that-
here
I
already.
can propose that. Yeah, to the
I think that makes,
I think it'd be the
The
cleanest, the
property.
neatest,
You got you,
least
you
impactful.
guys can getting rid of all the excess, like retaining walls, it was all the place.
everything would
Yeah,
go.
but
If we replace it with
the
riprap.
project would have to start at the very toe of what is existing and go landward,
Yes.
because the wetlands is all in front of
you've
there.
got a lot of experience in this.
Yeah, and when you do this, you probably wanna put silt fencing so it doesn't, any material travel into the wetlands.
Yeah, we'll do some.
Once it
work with
establishes, it'll grow all into one nice,
Like I always say, like random sized rocks, like not, like big and small.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to redesign and come back now, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you?
Based on this, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a lot of experience in this. This is,
The rocks are in, an easier situation sometimes.
It's
they
a
last
good
a lot
application
longer than
I
bulkheads.
think,
Yeah.
Hmm.
They do.
I think it's right up your alley.
Okay,
Alright,
good, thanks for the feedback, you guys.
So hold that.
Yeah, hold that over until next, we'll redesign and submit.
The 425, you wanna do that?
Yeah, 425 Dune Road, Bridgehampton.
Is that me too?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
We also have, 1275.
Yeah, that's the ECD, which is the beach replenishment project.
okay.
That'll be updated separately to you guys. Yeah, that's the,
425
and-
is the beach.
yeah,
Isn't that
that's
1200?
Scott Cameron. And, yeah, they're both town
Town projects.
facilities.
Yeah.
Bridgehampton, South Bonnet.
I mean, it was clean as corn. It was exactly what they talked about when they did their presentation.
Yeah.
That's the two of these, right? 425.
1200.
Now, we had to put it under one, property, but it includes, they're all linked, so
Yeah.
this is all the properties that are included in the erosion control district.
The whole expanse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to go.
Put it under the town property, because we had to pick up one.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's all good.
and you guys are updated independently on that.
Yes.
So,
So it advanced both.
What was the other project?
Yeah.
Am I missing that on,
No, you had the 1200 and the
oh,
425.
okay, got it. So.
1200, 425 advancing.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
We're holding the 175, right?
Mhm.
Holding 142.
Yep.
And holding 10-cent coin.
Okay.
So I think you are,
You're holding pen.
you're holding pattern. You're good to go.
Can handle
We'll
that.
be
You're
advancing.
good to go.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Good evidence.
And then Eddie, you have
Yes,
John Kevin Gilgan, 41 Plain.
yes. James, do you see the
he's
consultant?
not here, no,
I don't think he's gonna get here, so to deal with this, you need,
wait till the end, then, in
Wait.
case he shows up.
Yeah, we'll hold it until the end of the meeting, and then we have the
So I just got the
ocean view.
you've got Ocean View, 16 Ocean View Drive.
So we received an email from Daphne, she's making some changes.
Okay.
and requesting to be on the next work session.
Okay, we'll hold that
Only
one. Yep.
goes,
Yep.
I got Melissa Sutton.
to Seagull.
Yeah, I made a mistake last time, the last meeting. This was basically just a project that they ran out of renewals, so basically it's fine.
Nothing's changed.
Exactly the same project, James?
Yeah. It was permitted in 2014.
recommend its approval, Chip?
Yeah, I mean, it's long before my time, but
Just renewing it, yeah.
it is renewing.
Well, it's not really renew, it's
It's a new application.
Gotta go to a new
Okay.
application, it was like, didn't.
But yeah, I mean, it's a dock
Okay.
that's gonna keep people from tromping through the wetlands, and it's not going out to nowhere. Like we have had problems with the water docks; they're just trying to get to water access.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it.
Compliance to our standard.
Alright, so we can do that.
So that one you can advance. Alright. And then we're going to, trustee McLaughlin, you have.
Yeah, golf, National Golf Links.
So, JMO had sent letters already stating that they're not, on this application anymore. We did try to reach out to the new, people, but they've not returned our phone calls or anything, or our emails, so.
So you want Canada? It's been on, it's what, July of last year.
What are they
Oh,
looking
it's
to
been
do?
on way,
What are they?
They wanna do it, they want
Doc and,
the whole dock for like, for launch. They wanna do the whole, extend that pier out a little.
So they really need representation here.
Yeah.
So this is gonna go on hold until we can.
Yeah, and I wouldn't, unless they reach out to you, put it on. I wouldn't put it
No,
on.
we won't put it on. Don't put it back on until they reach out.
Unless you can get a hold of them, Joe.
You wanna try that?
I'll try, but, you need them all.
Okay. Put it on hold. Let Joe try and reach him. You've got Michael.
Yeah,
Vince-
one of them, sure.
Yeah, Michael Vincent Nardi, Nelson Pope and
One of them,
Voorhees.
sure. It was a holdover from last time anyway.
Nobody's here representing that? Any changes, any,
Now that I know,
updates?
everything in the file.
You wanna discuss this, or you need more information?
I need more for now.
You need more information?
Yes.
So then that has to go on hold. Trustee McLaughlin needs more information, so that has to go on hold.
I know we hope for a reason, I can't recall exactly what the reason was, we did hold it over.
Yeah, but if you feel you need more information
Yeah,
now, then
yeah.
you gotta reach out to them and, you just make sure they're coming in for the next
Yeah.
meeting before we put it on.
Well then,
Thanks. Then we got, trustee Parsons, Richard Dennett, 508 Dune Road, Village of West Hampton Beach.
Yes, it's JMO.
JMO.
For this one, we had talked about
Mr. Just.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Garth.
How's everyone been?
Good. Yourself, sign in.
Yeah, we discussed this one a few months back. It looks like you got some updates.
I think the last time we were here, I left the discussion that, I believe that all the work was, land would remain on water. And at that time, you asked me if we would require or need a bit of non-jurisdiction. And, I did go to the Village of West Hampton Beach Building Department, and they said, they don't need one for the file. If you'd like me to apply for it, change the application, just request a letter of non-jurisdiction, I could. I mean, if that's the case in your mind.
James?
I did not look back to see what we talked about last time, but,
That's basically the conversation.
Yeah, didn't we figure out that it was in our jurisdiction?
Part of it is, I believe.
Yeah,
Part of
so,
it is,
so we
yeah.
have jurisdiction, so let's just work on the application, Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, well, you're having basically a bulkhead built around to contain the pool and the deck.
Correct.
And it's going to tie into the neighbor to the east's existing bulkhead.
Correct.
I believe that was the real area over there to the east that was our jurisdiction. And so
So we're
yeah.
taking jurisdiction then.
Pardon?
We're taking jurisdiction, we're gonna work on the project.
well, the pool, the proposed bulkhead is above.
Yeah, that was the problem, is we didn't, yeah, that upper part there is out of our jurisdiction, and that lower part where that return is, was was questionable.
But he's saying it's touching our jurisdiction at the high tide mark, and if that's the case, then it's our jurisdiction.
Who's saying that?
Matt?
What says spring high tide water right there?
Yeah, but no, I mean, high tide water is the dotted line, and then we're behind that. So it's.
We have a.
What do you
Well, they,
touch?
no, no, they, well, yeah, they, according to the new,
It's touching.
it comes back though, it comes to the
It's
south.
touching the rock.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, so that's not us, and then the back from us isn't us. Didn't we have this? We had this whole. We had
so-
pictures last
So
time.
what are you seeing, Matt? What is
Well,
it that you're...
uh,
Just drill down on the cover sheet here.
The cover sheet, well, yeah, obviously
Okay,
the
so-
remove and replacing ground steel wool, that just doesn't even belong in there because that's not us.
Right, so then look at all this.
So there looks like they're proposing to build a return around that west side of that dock there. I mean the deck there. Go across the front of it, come down the other side, 20 feet back, and then tie into the neighbor's boat.
Are these your picks, Matt?
No, these are not mine. I took mine back in the spring.
Zoom in on that a little bit, James, if possible.
Yeah, I mean, I just would like to see. I mean, according to those picks, the high tide was over the rocks.
Yeah, so it looks like it's into our jurisdictions.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
I mean, that mean high tide water line may be.
Then one of the things I'm looking at this now. There's this one especially.
What?
Looks like we have to work on it.
The east deck return. Looks like they're gonna come. You're gonna wrap around, come to here, and then go across.
Right.
That does look like it's in our jurisdiction to me.
Does. When you look at it,
Yeah.
it looks like it's in our jurisdiction.
Well, I mean, look at the high tide marks right on the holes.
Right.
Yeah. There's a tidal fluctuation. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's
It's
your
definitely our
there's your
jurisdiction.
mean high
It's in your
tide right
jurisdiction.
there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Right, so you,
There's a stain mark.
right, so you have it, you gotta work on it. What are you thinking?
Looks okay to me.
As far as what though? What I mean, do we want to have a hardened bulkhead? Do we
Well, they're
wanna
gonna-
have this riprap like? What do we want?
What are you proposing?
Yeah, what
Bulkhead.
Well, it's a
with non-existing bulkhead there.
bulkhead, but they're gonna put a living shoreline in front of it. So it's a way of protecting from that scouring effect where the bulkhead ends there. And also,
The living shoreline will never live that close to a bulkhead with the wave of radiation. It'll get washed out on a northeastern and northwest wind over there, just like it'll be taken out in windstorm.
So why can't you just do the standard living shoreline project without the bulkhead behind it? Just do the standard.
And we haven't permitted a new bulkhead in 20 years.
So why don't you just do the standard living shoreline project? That's what it looks like it needs over there now.
Would you extend the rocks here?
Yeah.
To the bulkhead?
Wrap
Yeah,
them around
do
the.
the living shoreline project.
Yeah, we can't approve a bulkhead, like you said. We haven't. I mean, there's no existing bulkhead in there, correct? I mean,
no, not
and then
across there. No.
That definitely looks like it needs to be.
you gotta continue to the return. Of it.
Absolutely, you gotta do something over there, living shoreline type.
Riprap.
What are you thinking, Glenn?
Well, we thought we're gonna do the retaining wall under the deck and then run it back along the east side of the house, and it would be between mean high water and spring high water going to the east, attaching to the neighbor's vinyl bulkhead they had there. And we're gonna plant that, like I said, plant a living shoreline, landward of that wall. I mean, seaward of the wall.
Well, that's not gonna really do anything. The seaward living
We're trying to
shoreline.
stop the water from wrapping around and getting back under the pool.
Right. What
And
plans?
that's the whole basis of the
What other plans does he have?
Survey plans.
See the pictures down?
Oh, sure. Survey.
I mean, that it looks like that adjacent bulkhead's pretty high.
It is. It's got to be like.
It's a relatively high adjacent bulkhead. It's almost to the same grade as the pool.
Is that permitted?
I don't really think I have plans in here.
You need plans. You need to see plans.
have surveys with plans.
No, I wanna see them.
Is that a remnants of an old septic system there?
I was wondering about that, yeah. Got those
It is.
cinder blocks protecting it.
I think there was
A dry well
yeah,
or?
it was a dry well. There was a pipe sticking out when I was down there.
Man.
These photos, what it looks like under the deck.
Exactly.
There's no plans in the whole file.
He's got plans there, but
It looks, now, these rocks that are currently placed here, are they permitted or?
I think there, I don't know how many years ago, Eric was still on the board, wasn't there a certain, like a rule put into that section of Dune Road at 500? There was a lot of erosion and it was a Dickie Richardson that was at 500.
Looks like a
We did a project along there when I was first on the board, and it was somewhat of a beach, and we placed it, and over the time, it's about 70, the rocks are about 75 feet in the water with, water behind them. So I know this is a highly erosive area, unfortunately, but it looks like it looks like almost like a living shoreline has been started here with these rocks. You just gotta
continue on.
maybe slightly elevate them and make them a little.
Steel pool. That's a steel wall pool.
That's awesome. So it looks like they probably need the living shoreline to keep the pool from blowing out.
Yeah.
Is there an application to replace this pool prior to doing all this work or what? I mean,
They plan on replacing it, but that's not our jurisdiction.
I know it's not our jurisdiction, but like,
That would need to come off our applications.
I think you have plans for a living shoreline. Do we
yeah,
have
but what
plans?
I'm saying is you're gonna go. They're trying to put all these rocks in place to basically stabilize everything.
We're not putting rocks, they're putting vinyl bulkhead around the deck.
They hope.
Yeah.
We can't approve a bulkhead.
Yeah.
Like you said, we haven't approved the new
No.
bulkhead in 20 years. So plan B, we approve more rocks here. So you're gonna put all these rocks here, and then you have a pool that's blowing out right now. So I don't really. I think you need to dial in what these people actually want to do, and I'd recommend to them that there's a very, very, very small possibility that they're gonna get a bulkhead out of it.
Chip, can I see that?
Very small possibility, what?
Of getting a bulkhead.
Okay.
A decent possibility of increasing their living shoreline with rocks and rubble. But we need a little bit more like.
I think that's why we call it, at least along the northern side of it, that's what we call the retaining pond, that put it above mean high water, to get away from that quote unquote bulkhead.
Yeah.
Well, retaining wall, if we put it, 11 feet upland, it would be out of our jurisdiction to go talk to the, Marty, is this the village? This is the village, yeah, that would be a
Yeah, but
village.
there's a lot of stuff. The tolerance here between the high water and the pool and everything going on, it puts it in our jurisdiction. It looks that way in the pictures. It looks that way.
It looks like the pool is, the high water mark.
Pretty much. The pool is the bulkhead.
Is the bulkhead, yeah.
So we're gonna have to deal with a living shoreline project here to try and mitigate this. That's what we need to deal with here.
I'm not really comfortable with a pool that's gonna blow out that's filled with chlorine, quite frankly.
Chlorine's very harmful to the marine environment.
I mean, I can see the liner sticking out in the pictures already, and I don't know how old those pictures are, so.
It's got a living shoreline indicated on there. We just need to deal with the living shoreline.
Yeah.
We need to deal with the living shoreline plan right now. That's what we need to deal with for him.
For the entire parcel.
Yeah.
What it looks like to me,
You're not gonna do a little bit of a section of a living shoreline,
it looks to me like it's a classic place where you'd need to engage in that. You've got high erosion, you got, all kinds of fetch coming across that bay. You need to attenuate the wave action and shore that place up somehow. And what people have been doing down there is obviously living shoreline type projects, right?
Well, that's a good shot. Go up on that one again. So it looks like
That's looking to the east.
yeah, that. So that was that say 20
20
foot.
foot return.
Yeah, that's where they want to return. So if that's in stone, I think we'd be more, accepting of it.
Yeah,
That'd be more standard than what we've been doing now.
It's probably a swale, quite frankly, going down through there. That's probably where the properties relieve themselves with an overbearing tide or overbearing rain.
Right, you just wanna make
So
sure.
you gotta stabilize it.
Stabilize it so you're not doing more damage each time you have one of those events, so you gotta really engineer this thing properly.
Yeah.
What do you think, Glenn?
I wanna work with you.
That's what we think you gotta do. I mean, Matt, what are you thinking?
Yeah, it's kind of a mess. It's such a unique situation here. Obviously they want to protect the pool.
How about if they put, I'm just throwing it out there, if they pulled that wall back, the one running east and west, pull it back almost to the edge of where the pool is.
That's basically where it is. It's actually landward of the pool.
No, the proposed bulkhead is
Yeah, no, I'm talking.
seaward of the actual pool itself.
Yeah.
Seaward.
Right out of line.
Yeah, so the line, this edge right here, the sharp edge right here behind the bulkhead, behind the rocks,
Yeah.
is the proposed bulkhead.
Yeah. But that's out.
so what's the distance between the pool and that proposed line?
This section
Yeah,
here.
what's that? Because when you look at the pictures,
That's
I
30
think when you get on site, it looks like it's square.
Well,
in our
they have
jurisdiction.
rocks running right up to the pool. They're just showing the deck on top. That's why we can't see it.
Yeah.
And you can't
rocks
put-
along here.
Yeah. And so you can't put rocks
it's
without
dece-
putting rocks ahead of it.
It's deceiving.
It's deceiving. So
Correct.
they're trying to put the bulkhead right where the stanchions on their deck basically start.
So basically, the proposed bulkhead's gonna be in the water.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be square in our
And
jurisdiction.
then they're gonna, the DEC is gonna look at filling tidal wetlands, and then that's gonna be
They're
another
gonna
whole,
say
no,
Yeah.
but they'll say yes on the
Adding
living
more rock.
shoreline,
Yeah.
yeah, which is, they've been
Here's a
consistent.
thought, a monkey wrench in the works. The DEC, as anyone in the room knows, they don't know what they're gonna say on any given topic on a different day.
Yeah.
They gave both, they approved this.
Okay.
I'm not saying, I never try to use the DEC as a wedge with you guys, because I know it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's not proper to begin with, but they did issue a permit.
You never know.
Exactly.
So Glenn, you're saying to do a retaining wall back here.
Yeah.
That's what I say, I mean, I don't know if that would work physically or would work with you fellows.
That would be pretty far out of your jurisdiction.
But that still doesn't solve the problem on the east end there. There's nothing.
I'll shore that up.
It looks like there's already rocks here.
There's
There
already
is.
rocks there.
Yeah.
They're spread out,
See
we're
where-
not as tight as the one in
Yeah.
front of the house and under the house, but there's some there.
Put several larger rocks there and put smaller ones around it and put some fill and vegetate it,
Yeah, it needs to do a living shoreline project.
which would give you a living shoreline, an extension of what's in front of the pool right now.
Tie it all in nice so it works. And I mean, there's nothing there, there's not much to work with there. You got nothing to work with here.
There's no room physically.
Well, if you're gonna put a retaining wall in there, you're gonna have to rip out the pool because you need a 10-foot setback.
Well, it
It's,
says to be replaced in kind in place, so they plan on replacing that pool.
It's the pool is like right in our jurisdiction.
No,
the rocks are in our jurisdiction.
Yeah, but
because it's-
if you look at where the living shoreline line is going up to,
Yeah.
right? It's
Right to the
it's
pool.
right to it. Look at what you're gonna do off to the side
to the
there.
east, yeah.
It's
Yeah, you look at the pictures, the height, that is the current bulkhead is the pool.
it's right there. I mean, you're right there. I mean, under normal circumstances, we don't entertain this, you know. But this is a non-perfect world. We're dealing with this. I think the only way that you got a shot at this is to bolster up your living shoreline there.
Delineate the high tide mark.
Not really. they actually look
It looks pretty dry.
dry.
It'd be nice if it's not in our jurisdiction. I don't think the 10-foot buffer plays in. You're
This
right.
looks high and dry to me.
That's it, on that day, the reality is when you get involved, listen, we've seen these projects before. Hampton Bays, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name names, but they look like you're outside of your jurisdiction, and then when they end up getting done, they end up there in your jurisdiction. And then you're like, what happened here?
Go down to the canal.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's why and
Well, that's-
we worked with other consultants and other property owners in this area to establish a living
Well,
shoreline.
we should maintain
I
consistency with
think,
that.
and I know we worked on the north side of Merchants Bay with a consultant and a property owner. I think personally, I think a living shoreline with a rock component in it would be the something that I could see envisioning being there.
That would be consistent with the policy that the board has adopted for that area, right? So I think that's what makes sense.
I'm sure from the homeowner's perspective, they're going to think that they're just trying to prevent that salt water from coming up and hitting their pool, but I don't think it's going to be possible to prevent that.
But even if you put a retaining wall, you get a high tide, the salt water is going to go through that bulkhead or around it, and it's going to hit that pool. It's inevitable. It's going to overspray, washed with storms and stuff like that. It's going to end up there.
Yeah, so that pool's in.
I mean, if
Everybody's
you were up
got
there,
saltwater pools anyway these days, so who cares?
But the
Let's
salt,
be real, the saltwater, and everybody's like using ozone with a saltwater pool, so that's a drama that doesn't need to. Like,
well, the salt generators are making free chlorine.
Yeah,
So
so
you're still ending up with all types of.
yeah.
yeah, but
carbonic
I'm
acid
saying
issues.
is like, who cares if you have salt overspray in your pool? If you have
What's this
an
metal
ozone
metal
generator.
retaining wall
Yeah.
they're probably worried about because that's going to cause fasteners to corrode.
Yeah, I know that's not really. I mean, that's up to
That's-
the pool.
I mean, we got
That's
a hot
outside.
tub there. You got a pool there. You got all types of stuff there, and we have to maintain consistency in the policy that we have there. Okay, and I think that's the only way you can try and get something that's going to protect this here and maintain consistency in policy that will work. Is to stay with the living shoreline.
Keep the rocks going.
Keep that going. I think you just got to go back to the drawing board on that, which it's in your wheelhouse, right? You good with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have a bit of work cut out for you.
I see that.
Yeah.
All right, John, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be well.
It's on hold.
Grant's here for non-supporting board use, so we can go back to.
So we're going.
Yeah, one of them for
Just this whole property.
I mean, it would be nice
That was
if it
quick.
wasn't in the jurisdiction.
But it is.
I mean, they could just build the bulkhead directly around the new metal base, metal structure.
Let him factor that into his planning.
I think he's got a long one to go.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay.
So last time I was here before you on this application, which is 111 Shore Road, it was in July. The discussion went well. The board had some questions about the location of the dock.
Okay.
These were already submitted, so these are just copies.
Okay.
Specifically, Trustee Moran and Trustee Warner had suggested the possibility of using the two adjacent docks as a quote-unquote pier line. We heard what was requested, and the plans you see before you right now are exactly meeting the recommendations of this board. We took a look at the pier line, and we just shifted the proposed dock back to meet what the neighboring docks, where they're situated relative to the channel. So the plan that you see before you is, again, demonstrating that, and if you go to the last page, it shows a comparison of what was previously proposed, what currently exists, and what we're proposing right now. So the currently existing structure is in a really light gray hatch outline. The previously proposed is in the red outline, and the currently proposed is in the dark gray hatching. And again, that the proposed dock now has the float matching the existing pier line that was established by drawing a straight line between the two neighboring floats.
You guys okay with it?
The float will be chalked, of course, so that the float will not left. All the design criteria are consistent with the trustees' policies. Handrails, again, designed with just one railing.
What were you saying about chalk docks and mud?
Well, no, I said an open bay, but this one here is not an issue like that one. This one has deep water, it's in the channel. The one that's in Shinnecock Bay is way different than this, where they, chalk the dock and then they have a boat, a 40-foot boat parked at it, and it's not, that didn't work out very well. But this is more consistent with what we have approved in the past, and it's consistent with the other docks. As long as it's chalked up so it doesn't lay on the bottom, I know there's no submerged aquatic vegetation in this area, so, it would be consistent with what we've approved in the other two properties, and it has deep water, so you can navigate a boat right in there and tie it right up. I think it would work here in this specific area, Chip. I mean, you're familiar with this whole area.
It's muck.
Yeah. This is what we went through
Yeah, I think it's fine.
at the last meeting, so.
That was our only concern, is that it was consistent with the docks on either side.
Yep, and it doesn't impede on the navigational channel, which is very important in there.
Which we can get to you, so.
Okay. Looks perfect, yeah.
All good?
Yeah.
You okay with Matt? You okay with it?
Yep.
Okay, good.
So we still had one more, right? You had one more.
I have one more.
You want to go over it?
I can go over, I think the issue was with the plans that were submitted, there were references to CCA treated lumber, which has been deleted off of it, correct? So we have.
It's not yours, it's not one of yours.
No, it's not one of yours. Yeah.
You're free to go.
Yeah, I mean, 41 Oak Lane, Hampton Bays. The application is for Kevin Galgan. It's to replace in kind 118 feet of bulkhead using Navy-style structure, along with two 12-foot returns. Material will be shore guard 425 vinyl or similar marine grade, similar and marine grade galvanized hardware. Bulkhead will be accompanied by a 10-foot non-fertilization buffer, backfill with approximately 30 cubic yards of clean sand, along with Long Island natural gravel and native vegetation, grasses as described in the engineered plans. We propose to install a 4 by 100 foot open grade deck pier to access the bay via a boat as described in the engineer's plans. Pier will be constructed using non-treated green heart and tropical lumber, all with marine grade galvanized hardware. There will be two sets of tie-off piles to the east and to the west of the pier. We also proposed a 4-foot by 30-foot long level grade rampway from the slope backyard leading through the non-fertilization buffer. We'll install pass and repass steps alongside the bulkhead for the to access the public back and forth. It's pretty much what we would be consistently asking with the Blue Book, so I think it's something that we can move forward. Is that on the other plans that we? Oh, that's. No, they don't have on the other. We need to, it's page, no, it's bulkhead. No, I don't see them either. Yeah, we would.
You found it?
You found it? Does that reference any CCA treated lumber on it? Cause they were
Yeah,
all,
this is the original, so he submitted new plans of the, it's not new plans of the walkway, it's just the bulkhead.
okay,
So we have the old plans that show the walkway or pier. But that had the PCE plans, and I don't think you guys wanted the pier here, did you? 100 feet?
no, that was, it'd be consistent on the other two properties, one to the west and one to the east. They had adequate water depth. No, that's not it.
Well, the bulkhead plans, but, you know, plans.
Yeah, but the application
It's
cover
not co-
sheet includes
yeah.
both, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's not gonna work.
Yeah, we gotta have, updated plans showing the proposed dock, well, they were on the original ones, but we sent them back because they had CCA treated lumber on it. We would need updated plans showing the proposed dock with the water depths around it with no CCA treated lumber. Alright? Okay.
Are you gonna contact the James? Need to update that plan. I think that concludes our general permit applications for determination. I think the only thing that's left is executive session. Okay. So that being said, I'll make a motion to adjourn the work session and go into exec for the purposes of discussing personnel and litigation. Seconded by trustee McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll see you at the 1 o'clock session.